Greetings gourmets, I'm going to show you the best way to cook your aromatic Moroccan lamb. First up is to roast the sweet potatoes. With your oven preheated to 220 degrees centigrade, put the sweet potatoes and the oil that's in the container onto a suitable baking tray and place in the oven for 25 minutes. Our next task is to season the lamb. Take the individual lamb cutlets from the container and then place onto a suitable plate or tray. Then take the spice oil mix and then with a spoon stir the mix so the spices are evenly distributed and then begin to drizzle over the cutlets. Drizzle the oil onto both sides of the cutlets and then rub in to make sure we have a good thorough coating. Once this is done, you can set the lamb aside. It is important that you clean your hands and work surface before you prepare the dessert. Take the dessert and place onto your serving plates. Now we can take the paprika dip and pour that into a suitable serving dish and again set to one side. You can now take the aubergine compote from the container and then empty the contents into a small saucepan. Once you have done this, add a couple of tablespoons of water and then mix the water thoroughly through and then again set this pan aside. We will be heating this up a little bit later. We can now begin the chickpea and merguez sausage ragu. Take a pan and place on a medium to low heat and then again with the spice oil mix stir with a spoon and then add some of the spice mix with the oil to the bottom of the pan, just enough to cover. You can then take the container of diced red onions with the cumin seeds and then add to the pan along with the diced merguez sausage. We will then cook this very gently for around about 7 minutes. Once 7 minutes has elapsed, then you can add the tomato and chickpea mix to the pan and then along with around about 100 millilitres of water. Swirl out the container and add that to the pan as well. With the ragu now simmering away for the next 10 minutes, we can begin to cook the lamb. Take the remaining spice oil mix and again mix in with a spoon. Put the oil into a non-stick frying pan that you've got on a high heat. Now take your lamb cutlets and place flat side down into the pan and cook on each side for 2.5 to 3 minutes. When the lamb cutlets are cooking on the second side, take the baboot bread, place it on a small baking tray and then sprinkle with some water. You can then place the baboot bread into the oven to warm through for around about 3 minutes. Once the lamb is cooked on the second side, you can then remove it from the pan and place onto a small baking tray. Once it is on the tray, cover the lamb loosely with some tin foil and set aside to rest to help relax the protein and evenly distribute the juices through it. We can now take the aubergine compote and warm through gently over a low heat for 4 minutes. Once the baboot bread has had 3 minutes in the oven, you can remove it and set aside as we prepare to plate up the dinner. Place the chickpea ragu into a suitable serving dish You can now take 2 further serving dishes or platters, smaller in size, and then plate up the bat boot bread in one, and in the other dish you can remove the aubergine compote from the heat and then place into that dish. To finish off the aubergine compote, take half of the coriander from the supplied pot and sprinkle over the top, and then finish with the chopped almonds. Use up all of the chopped almonds and again sprinkle over the top of the aubergine compote. You can now remove the sweet potato from the oven, sprinkle with the remaining coriander, and again place into a small serving dish. Now that the lamb has sufficiently rested, remove the foil, take the lamb chops and then place them on top of the ragu in your serving dish. Spread them around into a nice even shape, and then any juices pour all over the meat to add an extra layer of flavour. Once you have finished the savoury section of your meal, you can then move on to dessert. With the orange blossom cake on your serving plates, as previously described, take the rosewater yogurt and dollop generously by the side. Then, with a small pot of syrup, pop open the top and warm through very carefully in the microwave for around about 10 seconds. If you don't have a microwave, feel free to pour into a pan and again bring to the boil and then pour over. Once the syrup is hot, pour over both of the orange blossom cakes and finish dressing your dessert with the pomegranate seeds. So there you have your completed meal. Your lamb cutlets with the chickpea ragu, roasted sweet potatoes, aubergine compote, bat boot bread, paprika dip, and the orange blossom cake with rosewater yogurt.